national interest is indeed paramount. Sir, because this is a captive power conference series, captive power producers have a set of problems that are very unique to the captive power sector. As compared to say UMPPs, which have been given tax stops and various infrastructure benefit supports, no matter whichever way you say. Captive power producers face problems because, of course, they're primarily set up for the host unit, and yet they're looking to sell the surplus power, especially in times of recession. As we know, we're coming out of a recession for 1.5 to 2 years. So, sir, what are really the challenges of the captive power producers, and how can the state of Orissa really incentivize the entire thing so that captive power can be mainstream to the benefit of the economy?
A very good question. In fact, the concept of captive power came when there was acute shortage of power. National Aluminium Company put up an 800 megawatt power station. For what reason? Because there was no power available in the state to supply electricity to in production of alumina or aluminium. So they thought we should have a power plant. Otherwise, Indian Aluminium, when it set up its aluminium plant at Hirakud, they bought electricity from the state electricity board. Because Hirakud Dam project had come up and there was no consumer at that point of time. So one consumer took away the bulk of the power. Situation changed, more consumers came, there was shortage, acute shortage, hence captive power was brought. Then in Odisha, then many other captive power plants have come up. Incidentally, there are many co-generation plants. You don't call them captive generation, but co-generation, you understand the different co-generation captive. Sugar factories, paper factories, even sponge iron plant, out of the flue gas, they can also produce captive. So these generations have come up. They have come up primarily for their own use. And they were, initially they were set up exclusive for their own use. But when the supply of power is taken from outside, or outside needs extra power, then they can easily release them. So the law allows the freedom. It does not require a license. Although High Court and Supreme Court take that view, which is different from the Maharashtra Electricity Regulatory Commission view in Bhushan Steel.
True.
And to that, I don't subscribe personally.
Right.
The amendment to the law has been made, so today that is not an issue. So you can. First is, if a captive generator cannot supply to a long distance, because long distance has its own limitation, evacuation problem. Then you have to have interface with so many transmission utilities, state as well as central utilities. Then you have got SLDCs, and then regional load dispatch centers, central load dispatch centers, so many tires which exist, which means, and the commissions are also involved, which means tires are bureaucracy, you can say. So therefore, some captive power plant may like to sell locally also, provided the tariff is good. According to me, there is no difference between generation from generating company and also generation captive generating plant. They're the same. So legally and in terms of product also, they're the same. If you are buying electricity, getting a tariff, why can't you go tap them also? Why not we have a system of negotiation with the captive power plants well in advance, and then come to terms and try to see, okay, whenever you get into the grid, start generating to optimum capacity. Whatever you want to use, you use it. When there is electricity flow automatically. Automatically flow. And then, of course, there is always a question of this, what they call UI charges. Exactly. Unscheduled injections. Well, that can be also handled in a flexible way. After all, you shouldn't expect somebody to go out of pocket.
Right. So,
there lies the role of the regulator. It's not in the hands of government anymore. Regulator is statutory body, high statutory body, according to the Supreme Court. They have almost they have quasi-judicial powers. So they should be bold, and they should not either be instructed by the government, or should be populist.
So if they are the highest judicial power for that particular power sector and those particular decisions, whether tariff or open access may be, why is it that so many cases then end up in High Court and they are pending over there and have gone into limbo? The whole process is installed.
That is the tragedy of India. There's a tragedy of a democracy. You have a system where you have judiciary, you have legislature, you have media, you have civil society, and everybody is conscious, and this is the tragedy of the 21st century. There's too much of transparency. Hence, these are the problems which you're going to face. You can't say, how can you stop anyone landing? If you access is there, they'll go. And there lies the point that there must be a national consensus. Everybody must understand what is in the national interest. You see, I see there's a big difference between the Western democracies and our democracy. I spent a number of years in Western democracies, working there and watching. Not, of course, I was not a citizen there, but as an international civil servant, I watched the functioning. And I watched here also. Somehow, maybe because of homogeneity of population, or maybe because of homogeneity of religion, culture, whatever you can say, they understand what is their national interest much better than we understand. And we are a nation of a number of ethnicities, cultures, languages, religion, races, therefore probably become difficult to bring about a national consensus. So this is the process of history.